This is Bean, everybody. If you guys have watched us play Castles and Crusades, you'll know that Bean is our resident ranger. And now you're going to be our phone task. What was the thing I said last?
Phone addict.
Your phone addict. Yeah, that's stupid. Let's never say that. I'm never going to say that again. I said that the last take, and it sucks this time too. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've already ruined the video. Anyway, this is the new 2014 version of the Moto X right there. It's running Android 4.4.4, which is KitKat. Android 5 maybe soon coming.
Very soon coming from their past experience with their phones.
Okay, and it's running a pretty vanilla version of the OS, so that's pretty cool. It's got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 801. It's 2.5 gigahertz quad core. Also running the Adreno 330 at 578 megahertz, and it's a pretty fast GPU there. As far as memory goes, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and you can do 16 or 32 gigabytes for the ROM. This one has 32 gigabytes. The dimensions of this, a lot smaller than my OnePlus One. Let's go ahead and put these together here just so you can see. Yeah, look at that. Now, the specs are very similar to the OnePlus One, but the size is a lot different. It's 140 millimeters high by 72.4 in the width, and the curve, or I guess the thickness, is 3.8 to 9.9 millimeters at the thickest. People in America are watching 5.54 inches will be top to bottom, and then 2.85 across, and then 0.15 or 0.39 inches right there at the thickest point of the curve in the middle. So it's got a nice curve to it, a bit more of a curve than the OnePlus, but I don't think it's actually thicker. It's a pretty sleek looking phone. And you got the one with the leather back there.
Yes, it did.
So you have what are the different options there for the backs?
You'll have plastic back, wood back, or leather back. Wood back has been around since the last one. The leather back is a new option.
As for the screen, 5.2 inch AMOLED, 1080p. So that's pretty nice, 423 pixels per inch. And then on top of that, we've got some Corning Gorilla Glass. So there you see that. Now, AMOLEDs versus IPS. Your screen of choice, what do you think?
I'm torn between them. I like IPS for daily use. AMOLED has a few benefits. The contrast ratio is very, very good. When the pixels are off, the screen's off, completely black.
How about the viewing angles?
Viewing angles are usually pretty good.
It's pretty bright from almost all angles. It's way, way better than a TN panel. So that's for sure. As for the battery life, 2300 milliamp hours. I guess we could talk about the video capture when we get to it, but it does have a 13 megapixel sensor for the front, 2 megapixel for the other side, the front, I guess. I guess the back has a 13 megapixel.
Yeah. You'll see it has dual flash, the little ring around the camera. It's a dual flash unit.
It's like a ring flash almost?
No, it's kind of. You see they have two flash units on either side.
Kind of fancy.
Looks good.
The last thing I want to mention about the phone, it's f2.25. And the video on this, it will do 4K UHD, which is 2160p. So a lot of very cool options there. Water resistant, yes. Trying to cover all the specs so we can get down to the fun stuff. Now it does come with like a very vanilla version of Android, right?
Yeah, it's very vanilla version. It's all pretty much the stuff you're used to seeing. If you have a Nexus phone or anything similar to that. If you're coming from the old Moto X, it's nearly identical. They brought back all the old features. You've got the quick display or active display right here, just like before. You can do the shake to get the camera going. All the stuff that made the Moto X a great usable device.
All right, your take on this versus like, I don't know, what do they call the Samsung one? It's
TouchWiz.
This versus TouchWiz and Sense, as far as usability and just, ease of use. That's the same thing. I said usability, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
My take, I really don't like TouchWiz. I think it's bloated. I think it's just an aggravating piece of software to use. Sense I like a little bit more. It's still, you can tell it's got a little extra weight to it. LG's software is, in my opinion, some of the worst I've seen on phones. Most bloated, most buggy, very, very half-baked.
I noticed it's almost as vanilla as the Cyanogen mod here on the OnePlus One. So, I mean, I guess the biggest difference between these two phones, really, other than the ginormous size, a few different components on this one, is the fact that the price on that is a little bit higher. What's the no contract price?
Full retail on this is $499 as a 16 gig, no back options.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing that the OnePlus One really kills it on, is it's $350 with 64 gigabytes and all the fancy features. But this one does have the water resistant coating, which is nice, and a few other things that set it apart.
Big thing too, you can actually get this on CDMA carriers. can't get the OnePlus One there.
There you go. I mean, I guess you can get this. Can you get this one on like T-Mobile, AT&T,
Yep.
and all the?
It's available on all the major ones, all the 4 big ones.
As far as speed goes, let's talk about that with Antutu. We ran Antutu Benchmark, and this thing beats everything, even the HTC One.
It just edges it out.
But it does not edge out the OnePlus One. The OnePlus One barely beats it.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
3D Mark, Moto X wins.
I took the cake on that one.
Yeah, even versus the OnePlus One. So, do you recommend this to people over most of the other phones in the market? I mean, depending on what they're looking for, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, for the most part, phones are all preference. I absolutely love this thing. I love the fact it's vanilla. It has a few great features that they added to it. They didn't overdo it. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel. They just took Android and its great simplicity, added things that made it better.
So, I mean, people don't know exactly who you are as far as phones go. They know who you are as far as, he's the Ranger in the group of Castles and Crusades. Obviously, he knows about phones, right? How many phones, do you have, like, right now? Do you that you use regularly? I know you've probably got, like, a drawer full of 40 of them, but...
I just replaced last year's model with this one. I have a Nokia Lumia sitting right next to me.
Let's see that thing over there. I love the industrial design on these things. They're so square and heavy. Let's do Bengay right now. It's just. But if you guys would like, like a versus battle between, these two and maybe a couple of the other flagships, let us know which ones you would like to see, and we'll see if we can make it happen. And also, phones have a lot of specs. So let us know what's most important to you: the camera quality, the actual Antutu Benchmark, 3D Mark. Let us know what's most important to you. I'd like to see that in the comments, preferably. Yes, I can talk on our website. So yeah, all right, Bean. Thanks very much.
Not a problem.
See you guys later. I'll pick only the benchmarks that benefit me. Intel fanboys. I'm watching you guys.
Everybody see my Discover card.
Oh, we're gonna discover your Discover card.
Yeah. Watch my absurdly high limits.
Oh yeah.
And my absurdly high balance.
Don't you know
Let's
it?
look at my Google Apps and how quickly that comes up.
Oh,
I want to look at that. Why?